Hi there, this is Rob at Reason101.net, and I'm here to talk to you about something that's very exciting. This is a totally different concept in which you can use Kong from Reason 5 to act as a keyboard. So I have a machine controller, and what I can do is I can set it up so that it uses the pads as if it's a keyboard. And I wanted to do the same thing in Kong through Reason so that you could take your Reason sounds and you can play them as a keyboard through your pad controller. This is really great if all you have is a pad controller but you don't have Machine's capability to turn it into a keyboard. So let's get started. What we're going to do is we're going to create a combinator. Inside the combinator, I'm going to create a 14-2 mixer. Underneath that, I'm going to hold down my shift key actually, and I'm going to create a Kong drum designer. And then underneath that, I'm going to hold down shift again, and I'm going to create a thor. And then inside thor, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to take my true thor initialization patch, turn on the MIDI, don't turn on the MIDI, turn on the step sequencer, because that's what we're going to need. Inside the step sequencer, I'm going to remove all of these steps. I'm only going to leave one step open. I'm going to click up here to keep it open. I'm going to bring this all the way down to C2. I'm going to change this to step for the run mode. I'm going to leave this at forward for the direction. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that same thor and I'm going to duplicate the devices and tracks for the thor, and this time I'm going to change this to turn it to C4 so it's all the way up, and that's pretty much what you need to do there. Okay, now your Kong is going to be your main drum, your main designer for this keyboard. On drum 15 we're going to do octave up, and on drum 16 we're going to do octave down. Okay, now what I'm going to do is underneath here I'm going to create an NNXT advanced sampler. I'm going to load up a patch, and let's just take the grand piano patch just for an example. Let that load, and down here what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of the samples. Let's make sure we have all of them. Well, actually, let's try something a little simpler. Let's take a Wurlitzer. Okay, this only has 2 banks of samples, so it makes it a little easier. So what you're going to do is you're going to click here, you're going to hold down shift, click here as well, so you're taking all the samples that are contained inside this NNXT, and you're going to notice that they're on your pitch for semi, you notice that it's at step 0. That's what we want. Okay, so we want to keep that. So let's just keep that for a second. Let's flip it around to the back. For the oscillator pitch, I'm going to turn this all the way up, and I'm going to have each pad control an NNXT. So let's take the gate output CV from the first Kong pad, and we're going to send it into the oscillator pitch, or sorry, we're going to send it to the gate because that's what it's going to gate. Then we're going to tab back around. I'm just going to move these up for a second. Underneath the thor, I'm going to hold down thor. I'm going to hold shift, and I'm going to create a spider CV merger and splitter. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to create another one. So I'm going to just duplicate it, and I'm going to duplicate it again. So I've got 3 CV splitters. Now let's flip it around, and what we're going to do, you'll notice that these are all linked, which we don't want just yet. So let's just turn that off. What we're going to do is we're going to take split A. Actually, we're going to take the split output, and we're going to go to split B, and we're going to keep splitting this all the way across the board. Okay. And then leave it like that. Now over here, you're going to take, well, actually first, before we do that, this is your octave up. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this octave up and you're going to send it down into thor. So what you're going to do, take the gate output, send it to the gate triggering of the first thor, put up the second thor, and this is going to be your octave down. So you're going to send that to the gate output, or from the gate output into the triggering down here. Now the next thing you're going to do is you're going to close these. You're going to send CV1 output into the merge, and you're going to also send CV1 output into the other merge. And you're going to move these up to 84. That's our magic number, and I have to thank Ed from Edit for TV, Edit Ed for TV. He actually came up with this idea for the octave up and down, and it was an awesome idea. So now you're going to send this merge to split A, and you're going to send one split down to the oscillator pitch. And now, here comes the fun part. You're going to duplicate this device 12 more times. So that's 1, that's 2. Let's take these. That's 4. Let's take these. That's 8. And that should be 12. Or that should be 13, actually. So that's what we want. Now you're going to have to do the exact same thing. You're going to have to send these splits into the oscillator pitch, and you will have enough, so don't worry about that. So just bear with me while I do this. Okay, so we've got 13. Now the other thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to send these audio outputs to the main channels here. So let's just do that quick. Okay, so now that we've done that, next thing we're going to do, we're going to have to open these up again. Now we're going to have to send the CV gate and tie these up with your Kong. I don't know if we can open it here. Yeah, okay. So you're going to have to send the gate output to all of the different devices. And the reason we need 13 of these devices is because you want to create a full octave. And what's going to happen is you're going to be able to play a whole octave of the Wurlitzer piano that we just loaded based on your pads in Kong. Whoops. And make sure you send them to the gates, not the CV. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go into the NNXTs, and we're going to set up the actual shift going from one semitone upward for each of them. So let's just hold down the Control key, or actually hold down the Alt key, click on that, and that doesn't open them all up. Okay, well, anyway, so now you got to select these, and you're going to move each of them up one semitone. Okay, so that's 1. Then this is going to go up to 2. This is going to go up to 3. So those are completed. Now you just have to set up the thor sequencer here. And what you're going to do is you're going to go to the step sequencer note. You're going to create 2 instances of that. Both of them are going to be 100. And the destination is going to be transpose, the sequencer transpose. And the other one is the CV output 1. You're going to do that for both of these. So 2 instances of the step sequencer note. Amount is 100 on both. First one is going to be the step sequencer transpose. Second one is going to be the step or the CV output 1. Okay, so that's your thors. So now when you play this, and you can go down, or this is actually going up, so we need to reverse these. My bad. Always something. Okay, so what you're going to do on the first thor, you're going to bring it up to C4. On the second thor, you're going to bring it all the way down to C2. Okay. So with that in place, that should do what we want. And that is how you build up a sequence that starts on C here and goes up to C here. And then you can add in your other notes there. You can do C sharp, and you can go all the way up until you hit number 13, and drum 14 is going to be absent, or pad 14 is going to be absent. So you can fill in the rest of these. And I do have this patch that I will make available on my site, but essentially this turns Kong into a keyboard that you can play with, and you can put any kind of patch that you want inside the NNXT as long as you set it up the way I set it up for you right here. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I hope this gives you a really new and innovative way to play your Kong. One little note though, when you're playing this, what you want to do is create a track for Kong so that you're playing everything on the Kong track. And the reason is, if you go into edit mode, you'll see that you've got the octave down, octave up, and then you've got all the notes that are going to be played here, and they'll all be sequenced inside the Kong device, not inside the combinator. And that's pretty much all there is to it. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope this helps you out with your Reason Kong experiments. And my name's Rob. Come find me at reason101.net, where I will be posting this this patch along with a write-up on exactly how this is put together. Thanks for your time.